Have you ever wondered why, despite your best intentions, bad habits seem to creep back in? Why, after all the to-do lists and good advice, the mind still wanders or the hand hesitates, just as you're about to do the thing you deeply care about? You're not alone. The ancient masters wrestled with the same currents. Sometimes it's not the enemy out there that stops us, but the one inside the old doubts, looping thoughts, subtle fears that make us question if we're strong enough to change. Thousands of years ago, a man named Sun Tzu wrote that if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. It's famous as military wisdom, but this line isn't just about war. It's about facing life itself. The biggest obstacles are rarely things outside our control. They're the patterns inside us that repeat, day after day, until we finally pause to see them clearly. What does it really mean to know yourself? It's not just a slogan or a personality quiz. It's the art of truly noticing your mind, your moods, and the quiet force of your habits, the ones that run your day, even when you wish they wouldn't. Let's be honest. Most of us live on autopilot more than we care to admit. Research shows we spend nearly half our waking life with our minds wandering, often replaying worries, nursing regrets, or making up stories about things that haven't happened. This isn't just a modern problem. Even the ancients saw how quickly the mind jumps from worry to distraction, how easily we react to a sharp word or a sudden urge without stopping to wonder why we feel the way we do. But this is where the practice begins. Sun Tzu urged generals to know the land before setting foot on the battlefield. In the same way, we're called to map the territory within. That means taking a few quiet moments each day, not to be productive or fix yourself, but simply to notice. Close the laptop, put down the phone, and ask, what's actually happening inside me right now? Where does my mind keep returning when things get quiet? Try journaling not to find answers, but simply to notice patterns. What keeps rising up in your thoughts? What stories about yourself do you keep repeating? When does your discipline falter, and what triggers it? This gentle attention is the start of true self-mastery. As one modern psychologist puts it, you can't change what you don't notice. Next, look not just at thoughts, but at habits, the daily loops that shape your life. Sometimes without your consent. You don't need a grand overhaul. Choose one small act, waking up at a certain time, stepping outside for air before checking your phone, lighting a candle, and sitting for 10 minutes at night. Make it sacred, even if it feels ordinary. Rituals aren't just chores. They're signals to your mind that you're in charge now, not the gossip of your thoughts or the noise of the world. But maybe the most subtle challenge comes with your emotions, the storm that rises when you're slighted at work, when plans fall through, when that little voice whispers that you failed again. Sun Tzu wrote about victory without fighting, and here the fight isn't with the feeling itself, but with the urge to react blindly. The next time frustration builds, pause. Breathe slowly. Ask if the feeling is true or if it's just loud. That short gap is a quiet triumph. You regain a sliver of choice. Over time, these moments add up. You start to notice, I am not just these thoughts, these stories, these reactions. I can witness my anger without becoming it. I can see my habit of procrastination as just that, a habit, not a destiny. If you make this your daily practice, even 10 quiet minutes, you'll find your days changing. Not with fireworks or dramatic breakthroughs, but with a calm steadiness. You become the kind of person who acts with presence, not from childhood scripts or yesterday's mistakes. That's the real win. Sun Tzu spoke of the victory that doesn't need a battlefield, just the willingness to turn inward and see yourself honestly. So today, let this be your beginning. Take a moment, right after watching this, to sit in silence or write what comes up. What patterns do you see? What feels hard to admit? And what one gentle habit could you choose just for this week? as a quiet training ground for your mind. True discipline starts not in self-punishment or harshness, but with gentle self-awareness. The world may be chaotic, but you can always return to yourself one breath, one promise, one morning at a time. How will you start to know yourself truly today? Winning without the battle. Let's talk about moments when pressure mounts at work, at home, even inside your own head. Picture deadlines stacking up, a careless comment stinging more than it should, or a sudden wave of temptation threatening your best-laid plans. Most people, when squeezed by stress, either push harder or panic. But what if discipline means not pushing at all? There's a paradox at the heart of Sun Tzu's teachings, the idea that true victory is often the one won without fighting. In his time, armies would stand poised on either side of a river, swords drawn, both sides desperate to prove their strength. Yet the greatest general was the one who found a way to win without crossing swords at all. Hesitation here wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. He saw that most battles are lost, not on the field, but in the fevered rush to act before thinking. Now, you might not be commanding soldiers, but you're still fighting battles against distraction, impulse, and the daily urge to react. Maybe you're quick to defend yourself when a friend misunderstands you, or you spend your days chasing every shiny new goal, rather than choosing one thing and moving towards it quietly and calmly. This urge to do something is deeply human. We want resolution, not uncertainty. Yet sometimes, the wisest path is to pause, observe, and wait for the right moment to act or not act at all. Ask yourself, when was the last time you paused before reacting? Not out of fear, but out of strategy. Science affirms what the ancients knew. Our minds are wired to react, but with a little distance, a counted breath, a slow exhale, we regain access to the smarter, steadier part of ourselves. Emotional storms still blow in, but we don't have to be swept away. Think about it. Your boss criticizes your project in front of the whole team. Instinct screams to defend yourself. But what if you waited quietly, letting the first flush of heat fade? Later, you could ask your boss for feedback in private, calmly and with curiosity. You haven't dodged the problem, you've sidestepped a needless fight. That's discipline, as Sun Tzu taught it. Not the loud clashing of swords, but the quiet power of self-mastery. You can train this in small, ordinary ways. Try taking a cold shower, not to be extreme, but to notice discomfort. Breathe through it and remind yourself it will pass. Or sit silently with a tense feeling instead of distracting yourself or venting right away. Every time you don't react from pure emotion, but respond with space and calm, you're strengthening your inner command. Over time, these choices become second nature. The world may still push your buttons, but you'll no longer be at the mercy of your first reaction. Discipline is not about pushing against life, but flowing with it, like water moving calmly around rocks. The disciplined person is steady, not rigid, aware, not numb. You step back to see the whole landscape, not just the immediate threat. Eventually, you may realize that most conflicts are like storms, they pass if you don't fuel them. When life presses in, ask, what do I truly want here? Is this fight worth my energy? Sometimes, the smartest move is no move at all, just quiet strength, waiting for clarity before you act. And so, as you face conflicts, this week external or inner, give yourself permission not to react. Practice stepping back. Trust that calm thinking brings better solutions than any hasty response. That's not weakness, it's the discipline that wins life's real battles. Let this be the question you carry forward. How can I create more space between my emotions and my actions? What will become possible if I pause, breathe, and act from quiet strength instead of reaction? Preparation, presence, and the gentle art of adaptation. Some days, even the clearest plans dissolve. You map out your hours, set intentions, and wake up determined only to have everything rearranged by a single phone call. a sudden mood, or the subtle tug of distraction. It can feel as if discipline is beyond reach, a prize for people with more willpower or calmer lives. But what if lasting self-mastery isn't about iron will or perfect conditions? What if it's about quiet, thoughtful preparation and the ability to bend, but not break, when the unexpected arrives? Sun Tzu wrote, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win." Think about that. The outcome is determined before the first move. For most of us, preparation evokes images of rigid routines or endless checklists. But the real heart of discipline lives in small, simple acts set in motion before difficulty shows up. A few moments the night before to review your priorities. A gentle boundary set around your phone when you need to focus. Asking yourself, what really matters tomorrow? Where is my energy best spent? These aren't chores, they're little rituals of stewardship over your attention and well-being. And when life inevitably throws a curve, discipline shows itself most in how you adapt. Rigid systems shatter when conditions shift, but those who practice the art of adjusting, who can flow like water, to borrow from Sun Tzu's imagery, remain rooted in purpose, no matter the day's weather. Imagine a river winding through mountains. It never loses its direction, even as it changes course. In the same way, your sense of purpose can guide you, even as you adjust your habits to fit the season, your energy to meet the moment. Notice the difference. Adaptation is not abandoning your goals, but accepting that the path is not always straight. Miss your morning meditation? Take a quiet walk at lunch. Plans crumble? Focus on one meaningful task, rather than despairing over a lost routine. When setbacks happen, and they always do, the disciplined person regroups, not berates. As modern behavioral research shows, lasting change rarely happens in a straight line. Progress is built in the willingness to start again, as many times as it takes. There's also wisdom in what you withhold. Sun Tzu noted that all warfare is based on deception, a reminder not of trickery, but of selectivity. You're not obliged to lay your dreams or setbacks before everyone. Sometimes, silence is strength, protecting fragile intentions, nurturing private struggles, or simply holding back a snap reply when emotions run high. Quiet discretion allows your efforts to ripen free from unnecessary noise and judgment. Yet perhaps the deepest form of discipline is the example you set for yourself. Sun Tzu advised leaders to lead by example, not by force. If you stumble, do so with accountability, not harshness. Trust grows each time you keep a small promise to yourself, and each failure becomes a seed for wisdom, not self-criticism. The most persuasive authority is built not with grand declarations, but steady, humble follow through 10 minutes of reflection, showing up for a friend when tired, resting when it's time. In the end, self-discipline is not an act of heroism, but one of quiet daily kindness toward your own mind and effort. If you treat your time, attention, and energy with care, you find yourself not at the mercy of chaos, but able to return, again and again, to what truly matters. So as this series closes, the question shifts from lofty ideals to gentle possible steps. How will you prepare for tomorrow, even in a small way, tonight? When things change, can you meet the moment with gentleness and flexible purpose? And above all, can you lead yourself not with force, but with steady example, a leader in your own life, quietly brave, quietly kind? Whatever today brings, trust that each small practice makes your foundation stronger. You don't need to control every outcome. You only need to return, with presence and patience, to your chosen path. The river moves toward the sea, not by force, but by never stopping. Where will you quietly, steadily go next?